Donald Trump's fans love him for telling it like it is, even if he sometimes stretches the truth. But what works on a campaign trail doesn't work in a court of law. Here are the times Trump fibbed while giving testimony. Following the publication of the book Trump Nation by journalist Timothy L. O'Brien, Donald Trump slapped the author with a libel suit. Trump alleged that O'Brien undercut the wealth of his company. However, documents shown in court demonstrated that Trump lied under oath about his wealth. The Apprentice star ultimately lost the case in 2011, but during his deposition in 2007, he made a lot of false claims under oath.
I think I'm the most honest human being, perhaps, that God ever created.
During the deposition by O'Brien's legal team, Trump admitted that he had lied 30 times while under oath. He was untruthful about everything from how much money he had to how much money he owed. It should be noted that the attorneys interviewing Trump in the deposition had copies of his financial statements and business records, which they could have used if he hadn't admitted to lying. Trump is no stranger to depositions and lawsuits. For decades, his personal and professional life has been full of them. That said, when he's confronted with legal action and cameras are present, it becomes more of a spectacle than a legal proceeding. Suddenly, his entire life, or his perception of it, shows up on the stand instead. His strategy usually entails talking about anything other than what he's been asked.
Trust me, I'm like a smart person.
For example, during a June 2016 deposition for a lawsuit against a chef who pulled his restaurant out of a Trump building, he spoke about his popularity in the Republican Party. Trump said, "You know, when you get more votes than anybody in the history of the Republican Party, history of the party by far, more than Ronald Reagan, more than Richard Nixon, more than Dwight D. Eisenhower, who won the Second World War." However, Trump's explanation had nothing to do with the lawsuit at hand and everything to do with pivoting the conversation. This is a tactic the public would come to recognize both during and after his presidency. Even on the campaign trail ahead of the 2016 election, Trump was telling anyone and everyone opinions that would win him favor, even if they were contradictory. In October 2023, Judge Arthur Engoron fined former President Trump $10,000 for breaking a gag order. Trump was told not to discuss Engoron's staff with the media and did so anyway. All parties involved in the New York civil case were given the same gag order, not just Trump. The gag order was set after Trump maligned the judge's principal law clerk, Allison Greenfield, in an October 3rd post on his social media site, Truth Social. Trump attacked Greenfield for previously taking a photo with Senator Chuck Schumer. The former president also alleged that the two were having an affair. On October 25, 2023, Trump made comments outside of the courthouse that broke the gag order for the second time in less than a week. He made comments to the press about a person who he called very partisan that was sitting next to Judge Engoron. Trump and his legal team both told the court that the comments were about Michael Cohen, one of Trump's former lawyers who had been testifying. During a defamation case between former President Donald J. Trump and former Elle columnist E. Jean Carroll, Trump was caught in several lies in his deposition. Carroll accused Trump of rape that occurred in the mid-1990s and claimed he smeared her reputation after the accusation came to light. She sued him for defamation of character, noting that his pushback against her accusation had damaged her livelihood. Trump lied repeatedly under oath over the course of the case, but one egregious set of lies particularly stood out. During his deposition, Trump denied ever touching a woman without her consent. But as MSNBC host Katie Phang noted, Trump had previously admitted to doing just that. Phang said he said no under oath. The whole world knows that on an Access Hollywood tape, he boasted about how he would grab them by the blank, and you could do it when you're a star.
He's caught in repeated lies throughout this course of this sworn videotape deposition.
In September 2023, Trump was found liable in the Carroll case. The former president was ordered to pay $5 million in damages to Carroll. However, his legal team immediately indicated that they would file an appeal. After losing the 2020 presidential election, former President Trump continued to weave threads of mistrust against the voting system.
We were getting ready to win this election. Frankly, we did win this election.
U.S. District Judge David Carter determined in October 2022 that Trump lied under oath about his involvement in trying to overturn the election results in Georgia. Carter came to this determination after Trump insisted he had nothing to do with the dust-up over potential voter fraud in the state, despite evidence to the contrary. With emails between Trump and his allies as evidence, Carter was able to assess that Trump's denial of any involvement was a lie. He said, "The emails show that President Trump knew that the specific number numbers of voter fraud were wrong, but continued to tout those numbers, both in court and to the public. After Trump's August 2023 criminal indictment in Georgia for his alleged involvement in attempting to overturn Joe Biden's victory in the state, it was determined that the former president lied at least 27 times in matters related to the case. Some of those lies include saying he won Georgia in 2020 and that ballots were being dumped in the state. Trump University, which was never an accredited institution, closed in 2010. In 2016, when the university was on trial for defrauding students with their real estate courses, Trump swore under oath that he knew the identities of the school's professors. He also said he had hand-picked them, according to AmericanProgress.org. However, this was a lie. In fact, as the outlet noted, the vast majority of the professors had never even met the real estate developer. Even on a less significant note, Trump also lied about his feelings about the Clintons during the case. In 2008, Trump wrote in a blog post on TrumpUniversity.com that Hillary Clinton was smart, tough, and a very nice person. He also wrote that Bill Clinton was a great president. When asked about that blog entry directly during the deposition, Trump wouldn't answer the question and instead started rattling off comments about the Monica Lewinsky affair. After a condo project in Florida failed, Trump would not confirm his relationship with the project and lied about his involvement under oath. He was listed in the building's marketing materials, yet he denied involvement in the project outside of signing the rights to use his name. The building, which closed after taking hundreds of thousands of dollars in non-refundable housing deposits, allegedly had nothing to do with Trump. In his testimony under oath, Trump told the court that even though the building was marketed as one of his developments, he was not involved in it. He then explained that sometimes his company develops buildings with his name attached and sometimes they don't. When asked why the marketing materials didn't elaborate on that wishy-washy statement, Trump said in his testimony, "You can't put it in the advertising because there's not enough room." During that testimony, he also went back and forth about who made decisions within the Trump organization. At one point, he told lawyers that he is the ultimate decision maker, then said sometimes other people make decisions with or without his approval. Additionally, Trump also noted that there aren't any cases in which he doesn't have approval.
I am the chosen one.
Before declaring bankruptcy for his Taj Mahal casino in 1991, Trump lied to commissioners about the business's financial health. When put on the stand to answer questions about the casino's finances, Trump lied about how much money it was actually making. Since Trump has been sued over 3,500 times in his life, often over money, it makes sense that his businesses weren't always financially well. After all, the Taj Mahal casino alone owed money to over 250 subcontractors. During a licensing hearing in 1988, Trump told the Casino Control Commission that all sorts of banks wanted to loan him money. He said in his testimony, "I'm talking about banking institutions, not these junk bonds, which are ridiculous. The funny thing with junk bonds is that junk bonds are what really made the companies junk. Turns out the junk bonds were precisely what he got, since banks weren't lining up to hand him hundreds of millions of dollars. Just over a year after it opened, the Taj Mahal was bankrupt." Trump even told the Washington Post that the Taj Mahal declaring bankruptcy was not a personal failure, but rather a big success that made him a lot of money.
I have never gone bankrupt, by the way.
Moreover, he told the outlet that he only declared bankruptcy due to the poor economy in 1990. Trump was accused of providing housing to mafia-connected crime lords in New York City. He swore to the state that he was not associated with the mob in any capacity, though he has had clear ties for decades. For instance, while testifying during the O'Brien libel case, Trump was asked directly if he was associated with anyone from organized crime. He responded, "Not that I know of." However, Trump did know people in the mob and even admitted that to O'Brien when he interviewed Trump for the book. In part of that interview, Trump told O'Brien about the experiences he had with Daniel Sullivan and Kenneth Shapiro, both of whom were linked to organized crime. Trump said, "I just was able to handle them, and I was able to handle them. I found Daniel Sullivan to be the tougher of the two between Sullivan and Kenneth Shapiro. I started hearing reports about Sullivan that he killed Jimmy Hoffa." Besides those two, Trump also worked with mafia-run firms to build Trump Tower and his Trump Plaza apartment, according to Politico. As the outlet noted, he even associated with Anthony Fat Tony Salerno and Paul Castellano, whom he bought concrete from. More than that, Trump was friends with the notorious Roy Cohn, who was head counsel for the infamous Senator Joseph McCarthy. Cohn also famously represented both Salerno and Castellano.